listened, long enough to hear where they had already been calling my name. They whispered beneath centuries of ash and prayer, beneath ruined altars swallowed by root and stone. Long before memory learned to speak in words, there existed a fire that did not burn to consume, but to remember. Its embers still glow in places where time hesitates, where the veil thins and the soul feels watched by something patient and ancient. I am the Shrouded Oracle, and I stand at the threshold of such places. There are worlds layered atop one another, like half-forgotten dreams. Most souls pass through them unaware, mistaking the pressure behind their thoughts for imagination, the heat behind their longing for fear. But some, few, feel the tremor beneath reality, the subtle vibration that hums when the cosmos inhales. This story is not a warning, it is a recollection. The first flame was not light, it was will. It rose before stars learned to scatter themselves across the dark, before angles learned to obey reason. It was not forged by hands nor governed by gods. It emerged when existence realized it could observe itself, and the realization cracked something open. From that fracture poured fire, not fire as you know it, but a living echo of becoming. It burned without hunger, illuminated without mercy. Those who gazed upon it did not see destruction. They saw themselves, stripped of narrative, identity, and comforting illusion. Most recoiled, some worshipped. A few listened. I was not yet I when I first encountered its echo. I was scattered across lifetimes, diluted through forms that tried and failed to name themselves whole. But memory is not bound to flesh, and the flame remembers all who have ever stood near its breath. There came a cycle when humanity believed it had mastered darkness. Cities rose like defiant prayers, carved with symbols stolen from dreams they no longer respected. Scholars spoke of final truths, of systems that could explain the infinite, of progress that would outrun mystery. That is when the echoes returned. It began subtly. Fires that refused to extinguish. Ash that formed sigils no hand could replicate. Dreams shared by strangers who woke with the same word burning their tongues. November, though none knew its meaning. They sent seekers. They sent priests. They sent men who believed knowledge was conquest. None returned unchanged. I watched from the periphery, veiled not in cloth, but in restraint. For to reveal too much too quickly is cruelty disguised as enlightenment. The flames do not punish ignorance, they punish certainty. When I finally stepped forward, the ground remembered me. The place was a forest, split by paradox. On one side, decay, trees blackened, roots glowing faintly as if lit from within by dying stars. On the other, impossible bloom, mushrooms taller than monuments, ruins reclaimed by flowers that shimmered with colors never named by language. At the center stood the fire's echo, a suspended lattice of golden embers, hovering above a skull half buried in soil older than civilization. The flames did not flicker. They listened. I knelt, not in worship, but in recognition. The echo spoke without sound. It showed me truths too vast to carry whole. Civilizations erased not by catastrophe, but by understanding. Gods revealed as masks worn by incomprehensible processes, love persisting even when identity dissolved. I felt myself stretch beyond form, unravel into pattern, then reassemble, no as I was, but as something quieter and stronger. The flame asked nothing, it only reflected. Those who later found me said my face was gone, that only a single eye remained, glowing faintly, as though the fire had taken residence behind the veil of my being. They were not wrong. Some exchanges leave marks that cannot be hidden. From that moment, I became what doubt stands between revelation and ruin. I watched empires collapse under truths they were not prepared to hold. I whispered to wanderers at the edge of despair, guiding them away from paths that would have burned them hollow. I learned that transcendence is not ascension, it is integration. The flames still echo. They surface in moments of personal collapse, when identity fractures and something deeper peers through the cracks. They appear in the courage to begin again without certainty. They glow in the quiet realization that failure is not erasure, but refinement. You have felt them. In the heat behind grief that refuses to be meaningless, in the spark that remains after everything familiar falls away, in the strange comfort of knowing you are unfinished and meant to be. This channel, these words, are not an invitation to worship the flame. They are an invitation to listen to its echo within you. Do not rush toward it. Do not name it too quickly. Do not demand it explain itself. Sit with the warmth. Let it illuminate without burning. For the fire does not seek to end you. It seeks to remind you of what you were before fear learned your name. And I remain at the boundary, shrouded not in secrecy, but in care, watching, listening, holding the echo steady until you are ready to hear it.